All right. Hi, Jenna.
Hello.
Thank you so much for offering to do this video testimonial. This is really going to help folks who are considering doing some coaching work with me. So would love to just hear a little bit about your perspective. Starting off with what goals or challenges originally brought you to coaching.
Sure. So for me, I was at a place in my career where I had been in consulting in kind of the same space for a little over a decade. And the next progression for me would have been to move into a leadership capacity. And I was really kind of struggling with, is that what I want out of my career? Do I want the things that come with that? I was coming off of just some personal dynamics that I wasn't sure what that would mean for me, what that would mean for being a working mother and my family dynamic. And I had never really viewed myself as part of leadership. And so that was really a driver for me to really think through what it is I wanted out of my career and what that next step would look like for me to stay where I was and kind of coast there for a while or move into leadership or ultimately decide that where I am is not where I needed to stay.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah, there are a lot of themes that came up around work-life balance, boundary setting, assertive communication, and really making sure that you are going to be honoring your values and your goals and your needs while also giving yourself room to grow and doing that in a way that felt sustainable and not completely overwhelming.
Yeah.
It's been 6 months since we started this journey. Looking back to where you started versus where you are now, what results or outcomes do you notice that you have achieved through this coaching process?
Well, one thing is I was promoted, and then about 2 months later, I took a completely different role that was offered to me from my organization. So I've had 2 job changes in the 6 months since we started working together. And I think a lot of that really stems from the confidence that I've gained in myself and in the grace that I've been giving myself more. One of the things that I really appreciate that we worked on a lot was not making assumptions and really just kind of better orienting myself to the space around me and the expectations of others versus the expectations I was putting on myself. And I think that really helped me feel more open to taking on and trying these new roles and being comfortable with what not being successful could or would mean, and that the potential for not being immediately successful in those roles didn't mean that I was a failure, or it didn't mean that I was going to get fired on the spot and everyone was going to realize that I was an imposter all along. So I think just that mindset shift has been a real gift, and it has transcended the workplace, and I see that coming into conversations with family, conversations with my spouse. Like it's been a very helpful mindset shift.
Yeah, it's been really beautiful to watch you stretch your wings and build those new muscles and give yourself that grace and the permission that it does not have to be perfect all of the time. As long as you're making that forward progress, it counts and we get to celebrate it.
Yeah.
Yeah. What would you advise to anyone who is thinking about working with me as a coach?
Get the tissues. No, I'm a high emoter, so there was some tears involved. I think if you're really ready to do the work and think differently, then I think coaching can really be such a phenomenal exercise for you. I have worked with different kind of like coaches, therapists dynamics in the past. And one of the things that has always really frustrated me was feeling like walking away from a session where I just vented for an hour, or I don't really know what I'm supposed to do after that conversation. And I feel like one of the things that I really appreciated, Meredith, about our conversations was it always felt very intentional. We'd kind of conclude a conversation with, and what are you going to focus on this week? And what are you going to do differently this week? I felt like the dynamics of the conversation felt very action oriented versus reflective. And so I think it's not the forum to just come and vent. It's really, if you are interested in really being retrospective and introspective, and then willing to actually get uncomfortable and try some new things and push back on the way that you have operated and see what happens. Being comfortable with being uncomfortable, and then get the tissues.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Well, thank you so much for sharing that, Jenna.
Yeah, of course.